Hey everybody, it's Mrs. Woolley. Thank you for joining me. I am making notes for you to use if you had connectivity problems today and you were not able to follow the whole lesson, or if you were out sick. And so what I'm going to do is ask you to follow along on a piece of paper, if it's easier for you to write rather than on the actual document for the class notes. And our lesson is 1.4, and it's on the order of operations, and your goal is to use the order of operations to simplify numeric and algebraic expressions. So there are actually 4 steps to the order of operations: parentheses, which are our grouping symbols; exponents. We do our multiplication and division left to right, and that's really important because often students forget that left to right rule, and it's right there. We also do our addition and subtraction left to right, and that's why I say there are 4 steps. So the answer to this problem is a -10, and let's see how we can get that answer. So I'm going to do our first step with this parentheses right here. And I know that 6 minus 8 is -2. And that's in parentheses, and that's cubed, divided by 4, plus 7, minus 3 times 5. And I am writing vertically, and I'm just going to make sure that I compare what I wrote to the line above it. So I still need to simplify the exponents next in the order of operations, and I want you to remember that -2 cubed means -2 times -2 times -2. So there's an odd amount of negative signs, so your product is negative. So we have -8 divided by 4 plus 7 minus 3 times 5. So the third step is our multiplication and our division left to right. So I'm going to divide first because that is the operation that I see first, and the quotient of -8 and 4 is -2. I still need to do that third step because there is multiplication. And the product of -3 and 5 is -15. And remember, subtraction is just adding the opposite. So I can actually rewrite all of my subtraction as adding the opposite. So this would be -2 plus 7 plus -15. I'm going to combine my negative numbers first because order doesn't matter. So I have -17 plus 7, which equals -10. All right, so now we're going to go down to the next, the next part of our notes. And it's the concept of nested parentheses. And nested parentheses are just a set of parentheses that are inside another set. And so parentheses is just one type of grouping symbols, and we're going to talk about all the different types. And to evaluate a set of nested parentheses, you work inside out. And so the first example here in the notes is parentheses. The second example is called brackets. The third example is, I call them braces, which is one of the words. Sometimes people call them squiggly brackets, but they're braces. And the fourth example is the absolute value symbol. So those are some of your nested grouping symbols that you might use. And then other grouping symbols are vernaculums. And so a vernaculum is a horizontal line that's placed over an expression to show that everything below the line is in one group. So a fraction bar is an example of that, as is the square root symbol. All right, so let's go on to the next page, and try a couple of examples, and the answer to this is -4/9. So I'm taking -6 and I'm multiplying by itself twice. So my base is -6. And the reason I know that is because there are parentheses. So a set of parentheses around the numbers tells you it's a negative base. And that's really important because I'm going to compare it to the denominator. And there is not parentheses around the negative, or including the negative with the 9. So this is the opposite, or you can think of a -1, a phantom -1, of 9 times 9. So in the numerator, multiplying two negative numbers, so my product is positive, and that's 36. And I'm multiplying in the denominator a negative number times a positive number, so the product is negative, and 9 times 9 is 81. Now, if I think about simplifying this fraction, I know 3 goes into both the numerator and denominator, but I also know that there is a greater common factor of 9. So the next thing I'm going to do is divide the numerator and the denominator by 9. So that is why the final answer, which was above, is 4/9. All right, now I'm going to explain part B, and this is showing you that a square root symbol can be a grouping symbol. And in this case, we need to find the sum of 9 and 15. So we're going to take the square root of 25. And that's the principal or the positive square root. And I know that I multiply 5 times itself twice to make 25. So that is the answer. I'm going to ask you to turn your video off and try the your turn problems. We have problem number 1. And I just want to remind you that saw means show all work. And then we go on to problem number 2, where we're going to evaluate. And that means to substitute in and to actually do the math to get the answer. And then number 3. Number 3 is an algebraic expression. So please complete problems 1 and 2, and then you can restart the video, and we'll go through we'll go through writing an equation. Thank you. All right, so on number 3, it says to order movie tickets online, John has to pay $12 per ticket plus a $2 handling fee for a whole order. Write an equation that can be used to determine the total cost C for T tickets. All right, so this is pretty challenging because we have 2 different variables. C represents the total cost and T equals the number of tickets. So my total cost here represents $12 per ticket, and we are getting T tickets plus $2. So $12 per ticket, so times per ticket, plus a $2 handling fee. So C equals 12T plus 2. Algebra is a great way to generalize arithmetic, and once I have an algebraic equation, I can find the total cost for any number of tickets. So for example, 1 ticket would be 12 times 1, which is 12, plus 2. If I wanted to buy 4 tickets, I would do 12 times 4, which is 48, plus the $2 handling fee, which is $50. All right, I hope you found this video helpful, and thank you for working so hard.